Today's episode sponsor is Indies United Publishing House. They have a short story contest running that's a great opportunity for both published and aspiring authors. Because this is a fun contest that you don't want to miss, I thought this would be an excellent thing to share with you. Stay tuned to hear more about the contest and how to enter. You'll find the direct link in the show notes.
Submit your short story and have it considered for cash prizes, awards, a publishing contract with Indies United, literary exposure, and more. For more information about the Small Bites Short Story Contest, visit indiesunited.net.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are discussing our November Buddy Read thriller title. If you would like to see this in video format without commercials, head on over to Patreon and sign up. We also have fun after shows and book vlogs, book reading vlogs. I'll be doing more of those, also available on Patreon. Don't forget, you can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Clubs app for even more book chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is featured co-host Classy from The Bookish Virtual Assistant. Welcome back, Classy.
Hey, Tamara. Happy November.
Woohoo! It's holiday time, apparently.
Yeah, it is. I got my... Even though mine's is more Christmassy than Thanksgiving-y, fall-y, but anyway, it's holiday.
It is. Are you team like, you saw those TikToks where people are like 31st Halloween, November 1st Christmas decoration?
Yeah, no, you know what? No, because I'm not like a big decorator. So, except for like Christmas, but Thanksgiving, I don't really do, but I do like the fall colors. But when I went in my closet, because I pulled out my Christmas stuff, and this is one of my favorites because it's got my pups and stuff.
Oh,
well, not my pups, but I was like, I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, do it. That's what I say. I'm like more, I gotta wait till like Thanksgiving weekend before I can decorate for Christmas.
Yeah,
now,
me too.
Yeah, you too. Because I don't decorate for Halloween, but I do decorate a little for fall, like fall theme.
Yeah.
So, but not Halloween. So I don't do Halloween, but I do fall theme, and then Black Friday weekend is when I pull up my Christmas tree and start that.
Yep. That's how I am. I don't do it anytime sooner. This is probably the first time I've pulled this out and wore it, but and I was like, please, dear God, don't jinx that. I don't jinx it and like it snows or something.
No,
I know.
Actually, it already snowed in Michigan. It already snowed.
Well, we got snow in October, but it stopped. It melted. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was hoping. Like, ooh, don't. Yeah. But
no more until like the week of Christmas, please. No more.
I agree.
Tell everyone where they can find you online.
Oh, you can find me on Facebook, The Bookish Virtual Assistant, and on Instagram as The Bookish Virtual Assistant. And I'm Classy Green on both of those platforms as well.
All right. So before we begin, as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers here. So you have been warned. Today we are discussing the book The Burning Girls, written by C.J. Tudor. The audiobook is narrated by Gemma Whalen and Richard Armitage. Published on February 9th, 2021 by Beltine Books and Random House Audio. The hardcover comes in at 333 pages. The unabridged audio is 10 hours even. Classy, would you kindly share the synopsis?
Yes. Welcome to Chapelcroft. 500 years ago, 8 Protestant martyrs were burned at the stake here. 30 years ago, 2 teenage girls disappeared without a trace. And 2 months ago, a vicar of the local parish killed himself. Reverend Jack Brooks, a single parent with a 14-year-old daughter and a heavy conscience, arrives in the village hoping to make a fresh start and find some peace. Instead, Jack finds a town mired in secrecy and a strange welcome package. An old exorcism kit, and a note quoting scripture. But there is nothing covered up that will not be revealed and hidden that will not be known. The more Jack and her daughter Flo get acquainted with the town and its strange denizens, the deeper they are drawn into their rifts, mysteries, and suspicions. And when Flo is troubled by strange sightings in the old chapel, it becomes apparent that there are ghosts here that refuse to be laid to rest. But uncovering the truth can be deadly in a village where everyone has something to protect. Everyone has links with the village's bloody past, and no one trusts an outsider.
Okay.
That's a good synopsis.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. It was pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. Didn't tell too much.
No,
Mm-hmm. So, high level, what did you think at the end of the book?
that was a lot. When I got finished, I was like, that was a whole lot. The ending, I felt like was everything seemed to be wrapped up. Everything was
Mhm,
resolved, but I felt like it was a little too tidy. I felt like some things should have been fleshed out a bit much. It was rushed a little bit to me, but I felt like there were way too many plots. It was just a
okay,
lot, but not
mhm.
horrible. I mean, it was a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also thought that the ending felt rushed to the point where I literally, as we do, y'all, we listen to audiobook mostly on this one. And I went back and listened to like the last 40 minutes again because it was like we were going at this steady pace. And then all of a sudden we got to the end and it was just like word vomit almost. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, let me go back and make sure I understood everything that I heard.
Right, because even at the pace that you listened, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? It still felt rushed, and that
Hmm.
was and that's how you kinda know that or that's that feeling that I get that I feel like the ending has rushed because, like you're saying, like you said, we were going at a steady clip. And then all of a sudden, and you're like, whoa, 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 I didn't speed it up. I didn't do
Hmm.
anything, but everything is just like, hurry, 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 hurry.
Yeah.
And, um, and I get sometimes with the hurry, hurry, but there was just some things some things should have been flushed out a little more. I started writing notes because I'm like, I think we even talked about it. Like there was, and we'll talk about it later, but there was one little scene where it was like she glossed over it. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did I just miss what she said? And, you hit the rewind and you're like, yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that's what she said. So,
Yeah.
and that was very key to this story. And it
Hmm.
should not have been where I felt like it was glossed over. That should have been flushed the hell out. I think
Yeah.
she should have took time and really discussed that.
I think that we'll get into this too later, but just in regards to that, I would have loved if the author had given us a few more breadcrumbs about that. We only really had one,
Yeah,
and the rest was just you couldn't tell at all.
no. We knew more about um a secondary character,
Mhm.
aka what is it? Wiggly Wrigley. We knew
Oh
more
god.
about his backstory
Yes.
than the basic plot of the story, the main plot of the story. Because you get to a point where you're just like, so which story is the main plot?
Yes. Yes. So yes, because let me tell you, I wanna say I was maybe around halfway through and I really started thinking, "Wait, what should I be focusing on?
Exactly.
What is the actual story
Yeah.
here?" Because it feels like I'm in this story and it's not really leaning the way I thought it was going to
Hmm.
lean, but I can't really tell what it is doing.
Right.
Is this a mystery? Is this a paranormal?
Right.
Is this there it's got a lot of things going on and the direction is very murky
Yeah.
all the way until the end.
Yes. Exactly. Because yeah, you don't know until that little ending, and she glosses over it, and it's like, whoa. And
Yeah.
when you hear that part, then it hits you like, damn it. The whole
Yeah.
time she misled us until we get to, what was it, like
Hmm.
97%? And
Right at the end.
yeah, and all of a sudden, I remember you. This is why I brought you back. And I'm just like, oh, no,
And
you
it was
don't. No, you
so
don't.
Clara is the person. Okay, so we spoiler alert, obviously. So Jack has changed her name. She's someone else. And Clara was the catalyst to kind of get her to come back here. She saw, okay, so Jack has some drama at her current church. So she needs to leave. And we can get into that because I think that's another thing that we need to talk about too, her drama.
Hmm.
And so she comes back, and this woman has had multiple conversations with her, not acting like she knows who she is. Jack doesn't seem like she knows who she is.
Right.
And let's be fair, when Jack left this town, she was 15. She wasn't 10 or 8. She was 15 years old.
Right.
I look how I looked when I was 15. I'm older,
Right.
but I look how I looked when I was 15.
Right.
Most of us do, unless you've had some work done.
Yeah. But right. So Jack probably does look very similar, but I think the thing where they didn't recognize each other is because Clara was the teacher. Am I right? She wasn't a fellow classmate.
No, she's older than them.
Right. I
Yes,
think she
she's an
was like a
adult.
teacher or some kind of administrator in the school, and she was heavier. She weighed more.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So I think that's the old classic ugly ducklings turned into a swan, because she does mention in the book where Clara is like that woman who grows into her age, where she gets better with time.
Better with age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she's just keeps looking better and better every
mhm,
year.
yeah, so I think that was the thing that totally threw her off. But where again where she kind of misleads us, or I won't even say misleads us, she kind of omits that. Somebody, is it Joan, the elderly
She
reporter or
knew her too.
journalist, who shows her the picture of Clara when she was heavier?
Mhm.
So here's the other thing, like you were saying. So Jack remembers her then. She had to.
She had to, but she acts like she doesn't.
Yeah.
She acts like she doesn't.
Mm-mm.
And because even the old woman, I don't think she knew her either, but I think she knew who she was, as she's a reporter and she made the connections. I don't think she knew her personally back then, but she was able to tell, because at the end of the story, the old woman says, yeah, I don't need to know
Everything.
everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I know everything.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I
Oh,
think they
yeah.
were saying too, like with reporters, like they kind of want things to kind of unravel
Mhm.
without them assuming. So she was probably just sitting back because she said, hey, I kind of think this vicar didn't commit suicide, basically. So,
Right.
yeah. So there was some, uh, journalists are kind of, amateur sleuths at times, because that's how they piece their stories together. But yeah, I did go back and realize that too, that, hey, Jack, you did recognize old Clara from her old pictures, right?
Yeah.
But I think she started possibly to piece things together, like when she saw, because she realized that Clara, which now in retrospect, when we're talking, that's how she realized that Clara had a thing for Grady,
Yeah,
the
he was
other,
also
uh,
a minister or something.
yeah, vicar or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah, who was sadistic and a pedophile.
Yeah,
Um,
he was abusive, he was a pedophile, but I think Jack, pointed out that, I guess she saw a photo of him or something. That's what she said. That's what the author said in the book.
mhm.
But we know now this guy he's good looking, he was young, and of course the little girlies had a crush on him.
Mm-hmm.
So he had influence,
Yeah.
and he was able to get away with murder.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a very handsome fellow. He had the high cheekbones, he had the beautiful skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, okay, I feel like I don't want to tell like this is a long story, but I think I want to talk about 333 pages, which by the way, I'm like, okay, 333. I'm like, is that 666? I don't know. I'm like trying to think.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, this thing's all about like, because this book in general, it has like a lot of different themes, and it's really heavy on, the church. And at first, okay, I'll just put this out there. I am like Christian, right? Like, but like non-denominational. I did do some Baptist church. I've never heard of a vicar before.
Oh.
I had to look it up. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt a little like novice in some stuff. I'm like, to what? I said, but wait, she's married with a kid. Who?
Yeah.
When? I said, okay, let me do some research.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know my own church stuff. I don't know
Right.
everybody else's church stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, I knew what a vicar was probably just because I've read a few other books that have vicars in them, and different denominations have different rules, because some denominations you cannot marry at all,
Yeah.
and some no women.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what
So
this
this just seemed like a reverend to me,
Mhm.
like the level of a reverend in like what I would consider like a Christian, like Baptist church or non-denominational church. Like they're married, they have kids, they say the word, they do church stuff.
Yeah. Right, and they can go
Yeah.
from well, and that's the other thing, like with some Baptist church, like you can get moved from another church to another church, but it depends upon the I can't remember, not the congregation, the oh gosh, what is it? Oh, affiliation. Like certain Baptist sectors will move one pastor to another church, within a
Mm-hmm.
region. So like with this one with the vicar, they moved her from her inner city. I can't remember what town that was, up to Chapel Croft. So
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah. So it
Was it like
has
Nottingham or Notting Hill or something? It was
yeah,
something.
right. So it kind of
Um,
has that Catholic kind of feel of the moving of the
mm-hmm.
priest,
Yes.
to different
And the
um
collar and like the outfits, when I looked them up, I'm like, oh, they look like priests.
mhm,
They're dressed how I think a priest would be dressed.
right.
So I was kind of thrown. I'm like, but you're not a priest. though." I'm like,
Exactly.
okay. Tamara, let go of the specifics
It's
and
probably
just
just a
read the story.
subset. Is they were probably Catholics and broke off, and I don't know. So don't come for me
The
in the
Church of
comments.
England.
Right.
So it's the Church of England, and it's some type of like, I don't know. It's a Christian denomination.
Okay.
Just like you said, it's a Christian denomination. So it's something that's like all the rest in a way, in like Catholicism in other ways.
Mhm.
So
Yep. They probably just broke off, kind of like with, like you said, with the Protestant,
mhm.
Christian, Catholics. There's always somebody broke off, didn't like something, and we're going to do it this way. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was quite interesting, to see a woman marry. Her
Mhm.
husband was a vicar as well,
Yes.
with a child, and that was really different. That both of them were vicars.
Yes.
So
Well, I mean, after we later found out, she basically joined the church to hide,
mhm,
hiding in plain sight, as she said. And that's one of the things I thought was really interesting from this character, like for this character. And even the synopsis says, she's a really like unusual type of vicar,
mhm,
and she is.
right,
She's like, I'm very modern in my thoughts. I do talk smack about the church when they are acting stupid. I don't like the Old Testament because it is A, B, and C. She just is like, the Bible does not say anything about being
Yeah.
gay. She putting all her feelings out there. She is very different, very progressive.
Yeah.
Even her daughter is like, if I didn't see you put that on every day,
I would think.
I wouldn't think that at all.
Yeah. She's very human.
Yes.
She smokes, she rolls her own cigarettes, she probably
Yes.
curses, she listens
Mm-hmm.
to what was the one song she listens on full volume? Something Nails? What was the sound?
Some rock music
Yeah,
or
that she
something, yeah.
listens to, watches movies, and I mean, like, vampire movie wasn't one like a vampire movie?
Mhm.
So, yeah, she was very progressive. She was not your average, um Bible toting,
Yes,
thumping, beating you across the head with scripture vicar. Yeah.
exactly, which is refreshing, I think, in a lot of ways, because I think if she were any more the author did that by design. I don't think she could have been a by the book, quote unquote, type of Christian person and do the things she was doing in this book.
Mm-mm. No.
I'm like, okay, she wild. She wild. She lies.
But you know what? I think that was the thing too, like, many of them do, but they hide
Mhm.
behind that
Mhm.
collar. They hide
Yep.
behind, the title and, saying, "I'm a person of God," when they are just as human as we are. I think, I loved how she talked about, um, even vicars or people of faith lose their faith. It's hard,
Yeah.
and when they said the guy who committed suicide, well, he's going to hell, and she's like,
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
no, and it's and he should have had faith or he should have had belief. Not everybody is the strongest, and I was like, I really enjoy it was refreshing to read that because it is so
Mhm.
true. So many times we put these titles on people and they should be this and upstanding and they are just as human as the next person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even her herself at the end of the book, she takes the collar and throws it away. She's like, "What kind of woman am I now? Who am I?
Right.
I have to rediscover myself again." So she's not even gonna be
Uh,
that. She's not gonna be a vicar at this point in time.
right.
Not to say she'll never come back to it, but
Yeah. But she's reevaluating her life.
yeah,
Yeah. Which is it's a human trait.
yeah. So at the end of the book, she actually kills someone, and someone says to her, "How could you? How can you? How could you do that? You're," she's like, "Hey, sometimes it can't be helped." Like, you just
Right.
you just gotta kill somebody. I was just like, but the guy was gonna kill her and her daughter. So what are you gonna do?
Right.
The guy gotta die.
Him or me.
Him or me.
And,
Yes.
sometimes, prayer is not I know people will not say that prayer is not the answer, but at that moment, it was like the
It's
knife was the answer.
the knife was look, the prayer is the knife. Here you go. Help yourself.
Father, forgive
Save
me.
yourself. Yes. We'll forgive you on this one. You get a pass.
Yeah, because I mean,
I
she did.
mean,
She had to protect her child, and what
yeah,
mother would not protect her child? Because
right.
yeah, because this kid saved me, helped me. He was gonna kill if she'd have said, mm-mm,
Even the daughter knew. She's like, "Don't do it. He's gonna kill me anyway."
mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, I will, but it could be fast or it could be slow."
Right, yeah. But I mean, he was used to manipulation, so he was gonna try it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But I'm like,
So
dude, now out of all the vicars you wanted to try, it
he
worked with
didn't he
Fletcher,
was
but
up
come
against.
on now. You seen that this woman threatened you.
So Wrigley was stupid. He didn't know what he was up against. He was so cocky about the things he'd done in the past. He thought she was one and the same and he was
Yeah.
wrong. And honestly, I could tell, like, okay, so her character knew pretty early on she didn't like him.
Mhm.
And I kept looking for the why. Why don't you like him? She couldn't really say.
Right.
That's why she couldn't really tell her daughter to stay away because
It was an inkling.
outside, yeah, it was an inkling.
Yeah.
Nothing physically was, she just didn't like him.
Right.
And I'm like, so the night that her daughter goes with him and they say they're going to like the youth church or youth
Yeah.
meeting, and she texts his mom, I'm like, that is not his mom. You cannot,
Girl. I'm like,
that is not
you need
his
to talk to
mother.
somebody. And I'm like, this was the one little mom thing she did wrong.
I knew it immediately. I'm like, come on. That is like so obvious. And then later she's like, wait, was that even his mother? I don't think so. After she finds, okay, so Wrigley kills his mother and she finds the mother and she's like, she's been dead for months.
Yeah.
He living in that house, still stinky house with a dead body.
Right.
That
Because the
guy
mom
is
was, yeah,
crazy.
because the mom possibly they think died not that far along after the vicar that
After
she
Matthew.
replaced, yeah, was killed.
Yeah. So here's another twist. So
So maybe 3 months? No, wait, 2 months. So maybe a month she might have been dead because 2 months ago, Matthew had died, according to the
mhm.
synopsis. So yeah.
So Matthew died. She comes, and then the mother dies before she gets there. But the irony of it, so I guess how it all comes together is that Matthew was being friendly with Ridley's mother because she had written books and she had research and stuff, and he was hanging around being friendly, and the mother started to like him, and he knew that he didn't roll that way, and he was mad about it.
Mhm.
How dare you get in my business, my mom's business, our business, and now you were sneaking around this house and caught me in a lie. So Ridley also has been like faking what do you a
Yeah,
disability.
has dystonia, which is like tremors and shakes or something.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been
Yes.
faking this since she adopted him. And I don't know
Yes.
how long he's been adopted, but yeah.
So she adopted a little psychopath. So he thought he would get attention with this, and he's laughing it up that these people are so stupid, calling him Wrigley,
Mhm.
and he's just having the best time bullshitting people, and her like I
You
just
have to be
cannot.
sick in your head
Yeah,
to
and
constantly, because you basically have to, your
you have to
tremors don't
live
say,
this.
you're right. You have to shake like a lot when you're in the presence of people.
You're a teenager doing this day in and day out.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really psychotic.
Yeah. And, what happened is Fletcher came to the house one day and saw Wrigley not wiggling.
Yeah,
And
he's doing push-ups or something.
yes, right. He saw him like not with his disability and threatened to tell his mom. And
Said, "You tell him or tell her I will."
yeah. So then Fletcher had to figure something. Well, he didn't have to figure something out, but he decided he was going to take care of Mr. Fletcher.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fletcher, like Tamara said, didn't like women.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming Wrigley followed him to find out, something on him, because it wasn't like it was really obvious from the beginning, but he found
Right.
out that, oh, you appear, like you say, you appear in my mother's face and you don't even like women. Hmm.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now it's either you're going to do this or, I'm going to fake your suicide. You're going to get up here and hang
Ugh.
yourself.
Yeah, which he had help. So and this is where the twistiness comes in. So Clara's eldest daughter
No.
was a witch. Isn't that Claire's daughter?
No, that is
I
Simon
thought it was
Harper's daughter.
Simon Harper's daughter. Okay, so
Yes.
Simon Harper's
Clara
daughter.
doesn't have any children. Her and the pastor don't have children. Or the
That's
vicar,
right.
is he a vicar or
Yeah.
something? He's another vicar or something.
Yes.
They don't have children.
Okay, so Simon's daughter, and she Jack had an early interaction with her. She was the little girl, the youngest daughter. She had a really unfortunate situation where her friend died while she and her sister were with her. But I think the sister
I
did something to the little
know.
girl.
That's the one little plot thing that I felt like was left hanging. I think Rosie
Yes.
did something.
Yes, Rosie did. I feel like she did because the younger sister was like definitely a mess after that.
Mhm.
So she goes to check on the little one, the younger daughter. She's leaving the house. The father is trash. The mother looks like an airhead. And as she's leaving, the Rosie, the eldest, is in the window giving her the middle finger out the window. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, something wrong with her.
Mhm.
Something is wrong with her.
Yeah. And even
And
the
then
mother
yeah,
kind of implied, like, do you believe people are born evil? And I'm like,
she's talking about her eldest daughter crazy. And then she goes outside and they got the upside down cross in her car, like scratched into her car door.
yeah.
Like, okay, psycho little girl.
Mhm.
I know you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really do think that Rosie has something to do with the death of that little girl.
Yeah.
But it was never brought up, but it
No.
was like you
Cliff,
said.
it was kind of like a plot hole, I think.
Mhm.
But what made me think that she did was the fact that she participated in Matthew's death, because at the end, when they tried to get Jack to hang herself, she's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, how'd you manage to do that? And of course, here come Rosie's coming out the office.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to threaten her, and then they start kissing and
I
stuff. And she's like,
know.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You guys are
So
sick.
they did that to the priest. Like, hey, I'm going to kill her unless you get up there and blah, blah, blah. And he did it.
Yeah, thinking he was going to save her life.
Yeah. And it was a big fat joke on him, and he died for it.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on with these crazy kids? Like, these kids are the epitome of evil. Like, who thinks of this?
Yeah.
Who? And it's like this whole thing about nature over nurture in this book as well.
Mhm. That was big. That was real big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ridley, he has like his Scooby-Doo moment where he like tells all his business.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was molested when I was young before I was adopted. And I freaking hate
Priest.
vicars and priests and whatever. So I'm going to kill you.
Mhm.
So like, oh my God.
So yeah, he had it out for them for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he was a psychopath because of all the other stuff he was doing. Like, he is plotting to, like, he is really being two-faced with her daughter, with Flo. He's going around creating situations that are fake, like being attacked and being tossed into a well.
Yeah.
His ass lowered himself into the well.
Yeah.
He acting like he got shoved in there. He is like creating all this chaos.
Yeah.
Every
Along
time
with
he's
Rosie,
around
because
Flo.
Rosie was like, I told
Yeah.
him he had to prove himself to me. So and I'm
Yes.
just like, oh, so you two are two sicko. You guys were made in heaven,
What a
made for each
mess.
other.
The two of them just creating havoc.
Yeah. And the
Okay.
the teacher, because what happened? Oh, Simon Harper, which is Rosie's dad, basically gave Jack a phone number to the previous school and say, you need to talk to the headmaster or whatever, or a teacher. And the teacher basically says she was afraid of what those two
They
would
would
do
do
together.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah.
Oof.
She's like, look, he he is like the kind of person that baits someone to hit them.
Yeah.
So, like, he's doing stuff to people.
And
he came
enjoying
around.
it.
Yes, and he's getting off on it. And he told Flo this crazy story. Like, oh, they harassed me so bad. I just wanted to burn the place down. I didn't know anyone was in there. Yes, you did. You tried to kill someone.
Yeah. And I mean, he had the story. He made it believable.
She felt so bad for him. She was
Yes.
like, oh.
And mom didn't fall for it. She was just like, okay.
I know. I'm like, that is insane.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a quick break.
Yeah, because this is a lot. And we haven't
It's a
even
lot.
picked at.
We haven't even scratched
And
the
I don't
surface.
even know if we'll have enough time to scratch at all.
It's so much. It's like, it's a lot. Okay, break time, y'all. Break real fast. Check out these commercials. By listening to those, you are supporting the podcast. Don't forget to check out the book review journal available right now on Amazon. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Okay, welcome back, guys. What else? Pick a topic. We've got so many. Just nab one out the air and we'll tackle it.
Let's see here. So in this story, there's basically two stories going on. You have Jack and her story, because they've come to Chapelcroft, and then you have this mysterious person hiding in the shadows who's just got out of prison, who's kind of come back for revenge. Well, it feels like revenge on somebody. So,
dare I say there are 4 stories?
I know. I was trying.
So there's Jack and Flo.
Mm-hmm.
There's this mysterious guy you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Mary and and Joy. And then there are the 2 girls from way back when who are the Burning Girls.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
4 stories.
Yeah, you're right. But okay, so there was 2 in the present day.
Yes,
and then
2 in
2
present day.
In the
like
past.
the past, and 2 in present day.
Yeah, it is a lot, people. It is a whole damn lot. And I thought some of the weirdness, I think, that kind of got me, and I don't know if you felt it, like Jack's story is told in first person, but there were moments where it didn't feel like it was first person, or did it slip into a different point of view? And then Jack's story, Jack and the other people were third person. But, I was just...
it also was a first person from Mary.
Yeah, it was kind of... something was off to me. And I think that got to the point too where I was rewinding, because I'm like, now who's talking? Who is talking?
This is what made it off for me. And I feel like this is what did it for you. When I went back and started listening to other segments again, I'm like, this is weird that the male narrator is telling the story of Mary and Joy. He did all of Mary and Joy parts in addition to Jacob's parts. So we're doing Jacob now and Mary and Joy from the past. But I'm like, why is the man doing those parts?
Because you think it was that third person that she was trying to have him just do all third?
I think they should have had a third narrator.
Yeah.
That was a woman. Yeah. And a second woman.
Yeah. But it got really kind of murky and weird. And I'm just like, something is not gelling, and I can't get it. But I think at one point you kind of get in a zone when you're listening. And not just when you're listening, and when you're listening to a point where I just got to get finished with this book. I need to get finished. But then when I, like you were saying, I had to go back and kind of like, something's not right here. Yeah. Okay. So I think that is that part. Now you're going to... no, I'm not going to go back and listen, but I think it was...
You're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, but it did get kind of weird. And when you said that, I'm like, I can hear his voice doing, what's her name? The one whose mom. Oh well, it was Jack basically.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom lowering her into what was her mom lowering her into a well or into something? Remember, her mother punished her, but she would lower her into something. You remember that?
Oh,
And
yeah.
she'd be praying with her or praying over her, but she lowered her into something.
Yeah, I don't know because they were talking about like the dark or something. So
Maybe it wasn't a well, but it was
it was
something that was
something.
lowering her. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I can remember him talking about that or
Yeah.
narrating that portion.
Mm-hmm. So what you think about Jacob? So at first I was kind of like, so what is this exactly? So I knew pretty early that whoever this guy was the person that murdered her husband.
Yes.
But it took a long time to kind of come to the realization that that was her brother.
Yeah. How did I realize now? I did know that it was Mary's relative, but I didn't realize it was Jack's, aka Mary. You know what I mean? Like I did get the connection that this person is related to Mary in the story because it was something that because I think the mother did the same to him as far as punishing. So I did get the connection with those two, but I didn't get the connection of how is that tying into the death of Jack's husband, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I did I connected those two. But now yeah.
See, and I didn't connect it the other way, but I'm like, he knows her personally. He knew Jack personally, and I could tell that, but I didn't, and now that I think back, it was laid in front of us. So at one point, he leaves a photo in the graveyard that Flo sees, and Flo looks at the photo, and she's like, that girl looks like me a little bit, and she looks just like how her mother looked back then.
Mhm.
So when I saw that and she's like, "Oh, it looks like a photo that I saw in that house." I instantly thought, "Oh my god. Her mother is from there." I thought her mother was from there,
Mhm.
but I still didn't say her mother is Mary. I
Right.
didn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I thought, gosh, what did I
And
think?
it was a guy in the picture too, but I didn't make the connection that that was the guy.
Mhm.
That was Jacob.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, is this somebody from her past at her previous parish? I think at
Mhm.
first. And then I
Mhm.
kind of, it kind of like went in the back of my head, like I didn't think about it again. But yeah, again, she is the master of misdirection, misleading. She
Yeah,
did a
she's got
lot
it.
of that. She did a great, if she didn't do anything else great, she did that where she is that red herring. I don't know if it would be red herring or misleading because I guess you can say red herring.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did a lot of it.
So, okay, so I did like that. I did like that I couldn't quite figure it out right away. I love when it's not too easy for me. Make
Mhm.
me work for it. But if I had to point out something that I was disappointed by, it's like I feel like this story didn't need this at all. It didn't need the historical slash I guess paranormal-ish burning girls, like they're ghost warning people. Like I was like at the very beginning, she sees someone in the church and she looks and she doesn't really say anything about it,
Yeah.
but she thought she saw something, but she kind of carries on. And then her daughter sees a ghost without arms and legs, or, without limbs and a head.
Yeah.
And she's like, I saw this. And I'm like, okay, so it's going to be about these ghosts. We're going to figure out something about these ghosts. And then the ghost just kind of falls away.
Yeah. They totally forget. They never come back up.
No, not until the very end when Jack herself is in the burning church and she sees the ghost and she thanks the ghost for warning her daughter, because it
Mm,
says when you see the ghost, they're warning you.
yeah.
Then her brother comes through the ghost and saves her and
Mm-hmm.
disappears.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we got to touch base at the end with the ghost again, but I kind of feel like it shouldn't have been them in there at all. We didn't need it at all.
No. Right, because if you're gonna do it, do it. Go
Mm-hmm.
go full in. And yeah, she just grazed the surface of it. Because I was thinking, I think we even kind of chatted. Well, we did chat about that, and I was like, because I think it was the journalist or somebody, or they were like, if you see ghosts, that means something bad is gonna happen
Mm-hmm.
to you, and granted, something bad did happen, but they never resurfaced except for those two little instances.
Right.
So, yeah, you would think like they would have shown up more if
Yeah.
if this was something that you were targeting as a genre or your audience, and it was not enough for me to consider it, and I'm not a big paranormal person. But I wouldn't consider this, or if I would, it was like paranormal light.
Oh, it's
Like
not. It's
like
not at all because she got off the bus. Like, I feel like maybe when she started this story, she had one intent, but it started transforming into something totally
it
different.
did. It
And then at the end, she's like, well, let me tie
bring
the
that back.
beginning into the end.
Yeah, like her editor was like, "Hey, you forgot about them. Oh yeah, let
Mm-hmm.
me bring
Oh,
them back."
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
No, I was looking for way more like I was hoping Flo was gonna develop some damn film. And even if there was a light, like how in
Mm-mm.
pictures and stuff you see like a whisk of it, or like a sheer curtain. Nothing. It's like,
I know.
come on, she gonna develop this film and you're gonna see something.
I wanted more ghost. I
I did
wanted
too.
more.
I
I
know,
wanted the
especially after
creep
our
level.
last book, we didn't get the ghost and stuff we were looking for. I was
I
really
know.
looking for them.
Exactly. And honestly, I did not expect to see any ghosts in this book at all.
No.
So I thought it was going to be like, obviously, the Burning Girls is a historical thing, which I thought was fine. You can tell the story of the Burning Girls and how the town were burning these little stick people every year, like
Right.
to kind of
In
pay homage
remembrance.
to
Yeah.
them. Yeah. But it didn't have to be a ghost thing. You messed it up when you did that. Like, I feel like you could still have that understory and tell the story of the town and still tell the story of how, of course, the wealthy family covers up the history and changes history, right?
Mhm.
You can still have that going on, but once you start putting ghosts in there and then you don't even do anything with it, I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. If you're gonna do it, do it. Go all the way in. Either it's going to be a ghostly historical burning girls. Yeah. It's either or. But I think she dipped her hand in too many
Hmm.
pots, and her stew came out bad. I don't know how to say it, but it was just too many it just, yeah, too many veins or side streets, and it took away from what could have really been a good story.
Especially since you named it the Burning Girls. It's not about the Burning Girls.
Yeah, it's not.
That's a part of the history of the town, but it's not about them.
Not
It's about
even.
you and your daughter and your crazy ass brother and the town's psycho teenagers.
Mhm.
That's what it's about.
Right. Right, because like you were saying, there was a few themes in there, like the nature versus nurture. Even if she played around with that, because um, she had a bad past, and
Hmm.
a priest came in and saved her and helped her. You had the abandonment issues. She dealt with that. So did Jack. I mean, so did Wrigley. And all that. But the burning girls, not at all. It was not enough for this book to even be called that.
No,
And yeah, because she wasn't even a burning girl.
no, she wasn't.
How did I say that
Her
out
friend
loud?
wasn't either.
She
Yeah, she
wasn't.
died, but she wasn't sacrificed or anything.
Nope. They went
Um,
missing.
they went missing. And yeah, there was a lot of church themes, religious themes. I mean, even the main character, Jack herself, her friend was molested and got pregnant by this, vicar guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same guy did an exorcism on her because her mother said, "Oh, you tried to run away. You must be possessed."
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And this guy was brutalizing her, like, to the point where her brother decided to help her. Her brother came in, let her loose. She was tied down with no clothes on. What the fuck
Yeah.
kind of exorcism is this?
Yeah.
So,
Well, the brother was supposed to be like the assistant was supposed to help the vicar, right? Wasn't he supposed to help Gary? Because he turn around and tell him to do something, and instead he stabbed him or something?
yeah. Well, I don't even think he was. Now, I'm not going to go back and listen, but I thought that, they did premeditate that because he had untied her and she was acting like she was tied down. And then when the brother came in, he took the knife that he was using to get her, like, mess with her with, and he stabbed him in, like, the chest or the gut or something.
Yeah.
And then she gets up off the bed, takes the gun, and proceeds to stab the guy under the eye and then just kill him.
Yeah.
She just killed him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. So the drama of that and what happens instead of them calling the police and saying, "Hey, this guy was attacking my daughter," yeah, because then that means they're going to go to jail trying to have an exorcism on your daughter.
Yeah.
They're like, "Let's cover this up. Let's cover it up." And of course, Clara's like, "Yeah, it's going to ruin his reputation, and he was doing the right thing, so I'll help you. I'll help the other priest cover this up." They throw his ass
In a vault.
in a vault with old ass dead bodies
Yeah.
and try to just retile it. I'm like, what? So the drama, but yeah, so she had a tough go of it early on. Like, what kind of person would you be if your parents tried to do an exorcism on you?
Yeah, the
Like,
mental state.
yeah, what kind of person? How do you recover from that?
Yeah.
Like an exorcism? Like, that guy was burning his ring into her.
Yeah. Oh, he was having a grand old time with
He
this
was
exorcism. I
he
was
took
like,
pleasure out of torturing her.
Yeah,
He
he
was
did.
torturing her for fun.
yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, the fuck? And then that hoe gonna send her the box with the exorcism stuff? Oh my God.
Well, and the other thing is that she thought it was joy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how? How did
Let
she
me
think it
tell
was
you,
joy?
Jack has nerves of steel because she got this box and was acting like, what is this? Why would someone send this? She had no inkling that she was bugged or bothered even a little bit by
No.
this exorcism box
No.
thing.
Not at all.
She is an actor.
Yeah. She kept her cool.
Yeah,
If
she
didn't
did.
if she learned anything from being a vicar, because there's certain things. Because I'm imagining. Well, I'm not even going to imagine. It's got they probably hear some of the damnedest things.
Mm-hmm.
So you do, as a parent, I could just say that this from a parent's perspective, that there are certain things that your kid says or does, you have to have a great poker face.
Mm-hmm.
You probably seen
Yeah.
it do it as an aunt, that you never let them see you sweat, because once
Yeah.
they do, they gotcha. And she did it with Simon Harper, where he kind of threatened her, and then somebody else started, and she was just cool as a cucumber. So she was, like you said, she knew some things, but she was trying to also piece some things together without playing all her cards on, laying them on the table. But I was confused at the end, and I don't know if you were too, where she thought, she thought whoever was in the vault, she thought it was, she thought it was Joy, right? Not Mary?
Okay, so this is the thing. Okay,
Because
this
you
is
went
what
back and listened.
so in the vault were old boy's family. Okay, so it's the well that Claire was standing at. So when the kid got down there, he's found the
skull.
skulls. So it was technically it was Joy, but they thought it was Mary because she had the necklace with the letter M.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought it was Mary, but Mary knew it was Joy because they swapped necklaces as best friends do.
Right.
And that's why at the end when she was trying to get she threw her necklace down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, she got to get rid of it. Now that they've discovered it, you can't have the pair. You can't have the same necklace. They'll figure it out.
Right.
So she had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So she was down the well, and there was someone else in the well.
They think it was Mary's mother.
Mary's mother,
yeah,
yes.
That's what they think it was. And I'm assuming the brother killed her. I don't know. I'm just saying now.
Maybe because the brother go around just losing his temper and killing people.
And hearing voices, because he was hearing voices like, you got to get rid of them. You can't do that.
He's talking to himself. I don't know. Was he talking to himself or was he like schizophrenic and voices were talking to him?
Girl, I don't know. But didn't he say she said? I think at one time he said, she said, now you can't just leave him like that or something. And I'm like, who is she? Is his mom talking to him? Because
I don't know. I miss the she, but I know every time he did something, he would try to reason with himself or explain why it was okay to kill this vicar guy, or everyone does something bad, but he didn't want to kill certain people. Or, the only thing, like, for example, when the maid came after he killed the couple, they never figured out he killed the couple.
Yeah.
In the town. And so when the maid came, he saw a baby seat in the back seat. That is what saved her ass. He didn't let her in the house.
Yeah. He had a conscience.
He's like, oh, this lady's got a baby. I can't kill her.
There's certain things I just don't do.
And he didn't kill the dog either, even though he said, I should have killed the dog.
Because he was yip, yip, yip. Because I sure did think he was, because he was going to tell on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
So he reasons who it's okay to kill and who it's not okay to kill. And then, like you said, he talks to himself. He's like, oh, well, now she's seen the car. You can't take the car. Mm-hmm. What else? He's trying to figure stuff out. I'm like, oh,
but I
my
mean,
God.
now that we know what kind of life they lived, I can imagine him, having, personality disorders or whatever, or some kind of disorder, because you could best believe that, he was being abused. Because there was something in the story where, like I said, I thought he was being lowered or something was happening to him as well. And that's how I connected him to Mary. So,
yeah, he was abused. And that's probably maybe why he developed that, Yeah. And again, nature and nurture. And, she says, people aren't, I guess people do evil things. That doesn't make them evil necessarily.
Yeah.
But sometimes they are. And sometimes it's like a lot of gray in there,
Yeah.
Because she ran away from her brother. She left her brother there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of why he's been chasing her ever since. It's like he will catch up with her.
Yeah. Because didn't he say, I thought at one point she said she was coming back, because he kept saying she said she's coming back. Oh, no, that might have been Mary and Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, see? So much is going on. But she did have some good quotes. I did like, there were a few good quotes that she kind of said in here, like with old age. I remind myself that old age is not a disease, but a destination.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I was like, she has some good, I mean, I will say some of her writing, it was good, but this story just felt like she just had too much going on in this book.
There was a lot going on. And
Yeah.
actually, you mentioned quotes. There was one quote that I liked, but it was from a movie. Wrigley says this quote, and he says, like, did you ever watch The Usual Suspects? You know that
Yes.
movie? He
Yes.
goes, the greatest trick the devil ever pulls was pretending he didn't exist. I'm like, ooh, psycho?
Yes. Yeah.
The motivation
That was his
behind
favorite movie. Yeah. And I remember that. I was like, Sizer Kose.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, it almost
okay.
made me want to go watch it again.
I know. I'm like, that is his inspiration for that whole fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
Just hide in plain sight. I'm not really bad. Look at me. I'm a guy who has this disability, and I'm just, what? I'm in this. Look at me. Just look at me. What can I do?
What can I do? Because I wiggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did have quite a few good quotes, and a lot of people tagged them on Goodreads. They got most of the good ones on
Did they?
Goodreads.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was one that I really, it kind of stuck with me about, old age. And I think she mentions another one about like, oh gosh, is it unconditional love? Or gosh, what was it? Yeah, I think it was something about like unconditional love, but nobody wants to test it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something like that. And I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you got some good ones. And granted, I didn't look them up to see if they were quoted from someone else or not, but yeah, there were some memorable, quotes that I felt like she did a great job on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one I thought was good. I think I think we have the capacity for good and evil, but for some, one side is more prevalent than the other.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it really has to do with like this good versus bad, you
yeah.
know. And I think sometimes I think the author is kind of saying a little bit of their own thoughts on religion. Like, here's another quote. Where did it go? Faith is to an extent is a placebo. If you believe it works, it works.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she's expressing her own feelings about
Religion.
religion and stuff through through Jack's
Oh
character.
yeah, definitely. I definitely felt that,
Yeah.
especially I almost wanted to like see like her background because she was hardcore when it came to New Testament versus Old Testament and um how some people want to live in that past of the Old Testament and
Mm-hmm.
or people kind of cherry pick what they want. With religion you got either you want to pick some over here from the Old Testament but you want to still do the New Testament. It's like pick
The
one, pick a book. Either you're going to
the
go with
Killers,
Jesus.
was that the group you were talking about
Yes, the
earlier?
Killers, but I can't remember what song she played on
No,
full blast. What was the name of that?
that's one of her
Was it
favorite.
something Nails or was it
I'm,
the oh gosh, what's the
I'm
name of
not
that song?
sure. So I was just looking at her little thing on Goodreads, and she's been a trainee reporter, a radio script writer, a shop assistant, an agency copywriter, and voiceover person.
Wow.
She was a television presenter for a show on Channel 4 where she interviewed people like Sigourney Weaver and Michael Douglas, Emma
Oh,
Thompson.
I did read this.
Yeah, she ran a dog walking business.
I think she did that while she was trying to write.
Yes, while she was writing The Chalk Man. And I read The Chalk Man.
Okay. I think you
And
did mention that.
yeah, and I ended up giving that 3 out of 5. So
Okay.
I remember The Chalk Man. It was very interesting. I
Mhm.
think her writing style was similar. It was like a lot of things going on.
Mhm.
I just kind of remember those comments. I need to go back and listen to that podcast. I actually did that with another podcast, and I can't even remember. I got to go back and look. I was a guest
Ah.
on someone else's podcast when I was talking about that book.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do like her writing, but it's a little, what is the word? cerebral a little bit.
Mm.
You know, it's like you got to think about it later and talk about it later because there's so much there. I mean, I think if I had just closed the book and didn't discuss it, it'd be like,
Yeah.
meh.
Yeah. But then, right. But then you got to say, oh God, and then it was that. And oh, and it was that. And yeah. And sometimes that could be a good thing. Like if you really enjoyed it, because then you're like, oh gosh, I forgot about this. But when it's in this situation, it's not a good thing because there was just so many, I won't say bad, but so many issues with I think my main issue was where are we going with this story? Like what was the
Yes,
main plot? What was the focal point?
there
Because
was none.
we were everywhere and we didn't get to the focal point to 90% in the book, if not 97, because
Right.
if you went back and listened to the last 40, I'm thinking that might be what 95, 96% if we're doing
Yeah.
the listening, if that much.
Yeah, I started listening again after Wrigley knocked her out. So it was like about 40 minutes
Okay.
after, right after he caught her, when she found his mother, and he threw her
And
in the trunk,
yes.
like, in the
Yes.
boots.
And
She
the
got
boot
thrown in
of
the
the
boots.
right. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was, that part. It's like, and I get that people would consider this lots of plot twist and twisty turny things, but I felt like I was confused at certain points of, okay, it's good. It's a
Mhm.
lot. My mind is whirling, but what should I be thinking about? Like you were saying, is it
Right.
paranormal? Is it Jack's story? Is it
It's a
Wrigley's
flow
stories?
story.
Is it a ghost
Yeah.
story? Is it about Fletcher and his suicide? What
Is it
are
about
we
the burning
being
girls?
girls, right? Because
Is
that's
it
the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing that really threw me off about this story because like we were saying, that can be a good thing where you close the book and you just like and you sit back and you just like I've had some books where you sat back and you're like, "Oh, that was a good story.
Mhm.
Man, that was a good story." But this where you close the book and you just like, "Well, damn."
What exactly did I just hear? Let me go back.
Like, no, what? No, the whole damn time I thought we were supposed to be reading about burning girls. And
Yeah.
lo and
No, we are
behold,
not.
it
Everything except Burning Girl.
yeah, these girls, they were not burned. The two, ones where it comes back, they weren't burned at all. They were
Yeah.
molested and abused,
Yes.
but they were not burned. They were not martyrs,
Right.
which this whole theory of the title of this book goes back to martyrs.
Yeah, and I thought that both Mary and Joy would be dead based on the theme of the Burning Girls, and they weren't.
Nope. Not at all.
So,
Nope.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my God, are both the girls down there and he killed them? And then someone else found out he killed them and now that's why he died? But that's not what happened at all.
Exactly. So, with that point being said, because this has been, it's a movie adaptation or a television series. I think it's, I don't know how many episodes. Do you want to see the television show now or
I kind of do. And
yeah.
I tried. And we'll talk about that in the after show.
Okay.
It's available in the UK right now. So I'm guessing it's going to show up here eventually.
Okay.
But I do want to watch it because I think Samantha Morton is the actress's name.
Is that the one that's
And
going to play Jack?
yes, and I really liked her in The Walking Dead. She played
Oh,
Alpha
yeah.
in The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Um, and I really can see her as Jack. Like after kind of getting this vibe of Jack, like she's really like
Oh, she embodies her, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
When I saw the trailer now, and I'm like, Yeah, that's her. All day, every day.
So they
That's
did
Jack.
good casting.
I think so.
Okay.
So I just want to watch it just because of that. And I want to see what they change, because I know they're
Yeah.
going to change some stuff.
Yeah. I read one review on Reddit, I think it was, and somebody said the series tidies up some things that the book didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
It's
okay.
6 episodes.
Okay. Which, you know what? Like we said, it needed to be flushed out. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming too that the series will be able, it will give that opportunity to flush out some things. Granted, who's to say it's the route that CJ Tudor wanted to go, but as a viewer and a reader, you might get that satisfaction that you didn't get from
Yes.
reading the book.
And honestly, that's the whole thing about adaptations, is because they write it with the assumption that you haven't read the book. Like sometimes they do fan service, but sometimes they make a lot of changes so that everyone will be engaged by it. Like you don't have to have read this book because sometimes when you follow the book verbatim, you're trying to get really close. It's boring. You need to
I can't
change
wait to
things.
talk to you in the after show, because there's 2
Yeah.
other books that I want to talk to you about. One I read and one I haven't. So
Okay.
yeah, that
So hold that for the
on
after show.
Hulu. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all check out the after show. It's available on Patreon right now.
Come on over.
So yeah, okay. Did we talk about the narrators a little bit? We did a little, but
yeah, we did a little, but not
did
to
you
a
like
point.
them?
They were bad. I mean, and I think we've listened to them before. Or I have. That Armitage guy, his name sounds so familiar. If I haven't listened to him before, I may have seen him at a conference.
Okay, let me see. Armitage, yeah. I'm just looking at his list right now. He did His and Hers by Alice Feeney. I feel like I've listened to that.
Didn't we do that one?
Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. We've done so many, y'all. We've done over 50 of these.
Why does he?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything else that I recognize. But Gemma Whalen, let me look at her list. She did Let Me Lie by Claire McIntosh.
I read that. I think. Yeah, see, we did do His and Hers, because I said check out the review. That was the one where I believe
it was about like a news reporter and her ex-husband and something.
Yeah, and her mother, in a murder investigation.
Yeah, the mother. Spoilers.
Exactly.
We're like, oh my
God. Exactly. That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Yeah, but no, I didn't. I liked their narration. It wasn't no complaints, to be honest.
Okay.
The only thing you do have a complaint?
I do.
Okay.
So to me, I felt like Jack and Flo sounded really similar. Like we would change from Jack's chapter to Flo's chapter, and I had to be like really cognizant of what they were saying at the beginning because they sounded the same. Like there was no change in tone or inflection or anything or cadence. Nothing changed.
You're right, because now that I think about it, because each time, because of the point of views, and then when because each person kind of had their own chapter, and you're right, you couldn't. Yeah, you're right. Even though, like we were saying, that Jack had first person, but sometimes it didn't feel like first person. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can. Okay.
Yeah, and I did have a problem with the guy narrating for Mary and Joy. I'm like, why is a man doing that?
Yeah.
It threw me. I'm like, why? So I'm listening to Jacob 1 minute, and then
just like, wait a minute, he's still talking?
Right. I just didn't like it. I'm like, okay, I wish they would have had a third narrator for those
Yeah, those.
historical parts.
Hmm. Right, because he
So,
was basically the only male character that had his own chapters because they were quick and short.
mhm.
Um, yeah, because the female character, she did both voices when it came to the other. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Wrigley did not have his own
Nope.
chapters. He was never the driver of the story.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, okay, I think we should rate it. We are well over time.
Ooh, girl, because this is a lot of book.
It's a lot. And we still didn't talk about everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to get
Yes.
into, but we don't have the time.
Mm-mm.
This
No.
would be a 2-hour episode.
Yeah. Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
I rated it a 3. Yeah.
Same. Same.
Yeah.
So sitting down, went on to Goodreads, marked it as read. That's it. Went into Bookmore, marked it as read. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, 3, save. And then I said, okay, if I change my mind, I can change my mind. But it was 3. My instinct was 3, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, it was. It was just way too much and too much to think about. And reading shouldn't be that difficult when you close a book, where, mm-mm.
Yeah.
And there was nothing, even after our conversation, that was, made me feel like, you know what, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. No, there was nothing at all that
Yeah.
garnered an increase. I felt the same way throughout the whole conversation.
Yeah, and I don't like, okay, so let me give some clarity before I say, I don't like going back to have to reread or re-listen to parts. In general, I don't.
Yeah.
When it's for understanding. If I have to go back and reread or re-listen because I'm confused or I'm not sure I got it all, I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
Now, if I'm rereading because, oh, that part was so good,
Yeah,
that's a
totally
different situation.
Right.
But if I need to go back because I think I missed something or I might have confused something, because honestly, there was another part I wanted to go back to, but I was not going to be able to find it because I didn't have the written part. I could have searched it if I had it on Kindle or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to remember who was labeled the bad kid. Was it Joy or Mary? Was Joy labeled the bad kid or was it Mary?
Mary.
Okay, so Joy was the one who had the parent who was telling Mary to stop coming around.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm like,
Joy's
okay.
mom or grandmother or whatever is the one that Jack visited in the story. Because remember, she had dementia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which basically, she knew the mother, if we go back and... Remember they mentioned that she visited, or was that the burning girl? Fuck, that was the burning girl. All right. Zip, girl. Yeah. But yeah, Joy is the one whose mother was the good girl who wind up getting
Okay, because
pregnant.
I think that's what confused me because Joy was the one who was getting the extra. I thought Joy was the one that was getting the extra classes with the guy. That's how he got her, right?
She was getting an extra
Oh,
class. Okay, I better stop.
But I'm like, if she's the good child, why does she need extra classes? That's why I'm like, was she the bad one that she needed more Bible study?
Well, no, I think she was getting extra classes because the mother was trying to keep her away from
Mary.
So if I can keep her in church,
okay,
she's not going to,
that's what confused
that
me.
influence. Yeah, that was the thing. She was trying to give her more guidance through the Lord.
Because Joy showed up to the meeting spot first. She showed up early.
Mm-hmm.
And then old girl caught her because she was like, you and this is another thing
I hate. Was doing with Grady.
How in the hell are you going to blame a 15-year-old?
Yeah, she seduced. Girl, they do it.
No.
They do it. Yep. I saw what she was doing.
She's 15.
It's power.
I am hardcore about this. A minor cannot persuade a grown-ass adult to do something.
No, not at all.
So get
I
out of
agree
here with
with
that
you.
mess. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm team whatever you just said.
yeah,
And granted, when I was saying the lessons, y'all, please don't think I'm thinking this is funny. It's a book.
I
It's
know.
fictional.
We're
But
not.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was getting some lessons.
Yeah, she
And,
was.
you know, she probably felt like she was in love. But I
She did.
digress. Yeah. I mean, that's what she's equating it with. And you can best believe he told her that.
Until she got pregnant. And now she's like, help me, Mary, let's run off and run away because I'm pregnant by this dude and it's trash. And Mary's
Yeah.
like, okay. And then she gets caught and then she has to get an exorcism because she got caught running away. Like,
Mhm.
the fuck? What's
Yeah.
wrong with these people? I can't. Like,
Under
it's
the
horrible.
skies of the Lord. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
Ugh.
Religion. I know. Religion
Yikes.
can, yeah.
All right. I think we're done. What do you think, Classy?
Yes.
Because we could just go on and on and on and on. We're not, though. We're not. Okay.
We're done.
We're
we
done.
want to talk about these
Yes.
movie adaptations or
Yes,
these
we
TV
do.
series. Yes.
So if you want to know about these adaptations and a few more things we're going to talk about, head on over to Patreon. If not, we'll be right back here again next month, and we will be talking about
Frida McFadden, the coworker.
Yes, the fan favorite, Frida. We're back at it with the coworker. We'll be back in your inbox next month. If you want to talk with us at Book Club about these books, join us over on the Book Clubs app. We'll love to have you. And you can chat or type or do whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Yep. No pressure.
No pressure. Okay, so we'll call it. It's been a fun conversation. If you're still listening and you hear the sound of my voice, don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a 5-star review. That would be awesome. And if you're on Spotify, leave a comment. Leave a comment. That would be awesome. Okay, guys. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.